everything new. We live new. A brighter path is calling me and you. Week by week, we grow inside with wisdom as our daily guide. A renewed mind, a journey we will see to become the best of who we're meant to be.
Hi, and welcome to the Renewed Mind podcast. Space where clarity meets purpose, every thought becomes a step towards a better life. I'm your host, and my name is Tokuma Akomo, and I'm glad you're here. Each episode is designed to help you pause, reflect, and realign your thinking with the values that truly matter. Through simple, meaningful insights, we explore how a renewed mindset can shape the way you live, respond, and grow. Take a moment to settle in. Let's dive into today's conversation. Think about the last time something outside of you went wrong. I mean, a heavy traffic, rude comment, a plan that fell apart at the last minute, someone else's bad mood that somehow became your bad mood too. Now, think about how you responded to what happened. Just take a moment to think about that. And I have these 3 questions to ask you on today's episode of Renewed Mind. Why does 2 people face the same setback and one spirals for the rest of the day while the other barely breaks stride? The second question is, why is it that the people who seem most in control of their lives are really the ones trying to control everyone around them? And the third question, and what if the circumstances you are desperate to control were never actually the problem? What if the real problem has been sitting quietly inside you the whole time, unmanaged? Think about this. Today on Renewed Mind, dealing with the topic control. And it might be the most misdirected pursuit of our lives because we keep aiming it outward when it was only ever meant to be aimed inward. Now let's define what control means. We use the word control constantly, but almost always pointed at the wrong target. We want to control outcomes, control other people's opinion of us, control the traffic, the weather, the economy, the way someone else feels about us. But here is the truth nobody wants to hear. Listen, you were never given authority over any of that. Not the traffic, not other people, not tomorrow. The only thing you were ever handed full control over is you. Yes, your reactions, your words, your next choice. Listen to this. Real control isn't the ability to manage your circumstances. It's the ability to manage yourself within your circumstances. Take note of that word, within your circumstances. It's the pause between something happening and you responding to it. That pause is small, sometimes less than a second, but it's the most powerful space you will ever occupy because everything that matters happens inside it. Yes, inside that small pause. And here's what most people get backwards. They think self-control is restrictive, like a cage. It's actually the opposite. The person who has mastered their impulses isn't more confined. They are only one actually free. Everyone else is being steered by whatever mood, comment, or craving shows up next. Self-control is the steering wheel. Without it, you are not free. You are just a passenger in your own life, reacting to whoever happens to be driving that day. Did you get the illustration? Yes. So self-control is the steering. Now let's look at some words that we've mixed up with control. So we have control and controlling. This one sounds like a trick, but it's the whole episode in 2 words. Self-control is inward, mastering your own reactions, appetites, and impulses. Controlling is outward, trying to manage other people, outcomes, or circumstances so they bend to what you need. Here is the irony. The less self-control someone has, the more controlling they tend to become with everyone else. Think about it. A person who can't sit with their own discomfort will often try to eliminate the discomfort by managing everyone around them instead. Controlling behavior is frequently just self-control, misdirected outward because it was never built inward first. Yes, because it was never built inward first. Now we have control and suppression. This gets confused constantly. Suppression is shoving a feeling down and pretending it isn't there. Anger swallowed, hurt hidden, tension ignored, until it leaks out sideways later. Control is not the absence of the feeling. It's feeling it fully and still choosing your response on purpose. You will love this. Suppression is a pressure cooker with the lid tap shut. Control is knowing how to release the pressure on your own terms before it decides to release itself on everyone else's. Did you love that? Yes. There's a major difference between suppression and control. Now, what are the steps at which you can master self-control? And I'm just going to list them quickly for us. The first one is name the impulse before it names you. Most impulse reactions run on autopilot because they have never been identified. Ask yourself, what's the one impulse, the sharp reply, the impulsive purchase, the urge to check out emotionally that keeps hijacking your outcomes? Did you get that? The next step is widen the pause. Between the trigger and the reaction, there is a gap. Most people don't notice it because it's so small. Practice noticing it. Even one extra breath before you respond can change everything downstream. The next step is decide the response in advance. Don't wait for the heated moment to decide how you will act in it. Decide now, calmly, how you want to respond the next time that trigger shows up, so you are not negotiating with yourself in the middle of the storm. The next step is remove what feeds the impulse. If it's your phone at midnight, charge it in another room. If it's a certain person's message, mute the notification. Self-control is easier when you are not white knuckling against someone sitting right in front of you. Yes. And the next step is track your wins, not just your losses. Every time you manage the impulse, instead of the impulse managing you, mark it. Progress in self-control is quiet and it needs to be believed. The next step is expect to sleep and return without the shame. One loss of control is the moment. Turning it into 3 days of self-punishment is a choice, and it's wrong one. Reset and continue. Reset and continue. And let me give you a practical illustration of 2 captains. Now picture this with me for a second. Picture 2 ships caught in the exact same storm, on the exact same night, on the exact same sea. Now, the first captain spends the entire storm trying to control the storm itself, shouting at the waves, fighting the wind, exhausting himself trying to command something that has never once in the history of the sea taken instruction from a man on the deck. By morning, he's depleted, the ship is battered, and nothing about the storm changed because of his effort. He controlled nothing because the storm was never his to control. Now, the second captain does something different. He doesn't waste energy commanding the wind. He goes below deck, checks his own instruments, adjusts his own sails, steadies his own hands on the wheel. He isn't controlling the storm. He is controlling the one vessel actually under his command. His ship, his response, his next decision. Listen to this. Same storm, same night, same sea. One captain arrived at morning exhausted, having fought a battle he could never win. The other arrived at morning still standing, not because the storm was gentler on the side of the water, but because he spent the night mastering the only thing that was ever his to master. Did you get that? Listen to this. You are not the captain of the storm. You are only ever the captain of the ship. Every circumstance in your life is that same sea, and the only real question is which captain you will be tonight. Yes, so think about it, that you are the captain of the ship, not of the storm. See, he who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still. Yes, he's a master, because you cannot control what happens to you, but you can control your attitude towards what happens to you, and in that you'll be mastering change rather than allowing it to master you. Here's what I want you to sit with today. I want you to listen to this. Somewhere out there, right now, you are probably fighting to control something that was never yours to control. A person's opinion, an outcome, a circumstance that has its own weather system entirely separate from you. Meanwhile, the one thing that has always been fully within your reach, your response, your next word, your next reaction, may have been sitting unmanaged this whole time. Yes, I mean what you have control over, you've not paid attention to it at all. You will love this. Self-control isn't about becoming rigid or repressed. It's about finally putting your hands back on the one wheel you were actually given. And relationships transform the moment you stop trying to steer other people and start steering yourself. So here's my advice for you this week. Identify one impulse, just one, and manage it intentionally. Notice the word manage it intentionally. And that change you're looking for will begin to manifest even as you do that. Thank you for spending this time with me on the Renewed Mind podcast. I hope today's episode gave you something meaningful to carry into your week. Remember that renewal starts in the mind with the thoughts you choose and the perspective you embrace. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to follow the podcast and share it with someone who needs it too. And as we close, I want you to say this with me, that my mind is renewed, that my steps are aligned, that my life is changing, and I become better. Until next time, remember it's about thinking new and living new. Thank you and have a good week.
Start your Monday with a rising flame, a clearer vision, a higher aim. On every platform, hear the call to stand up stronger after every fall. Renewed mind, we think new, we live new, together finding all that's true. A year of growth, a steady climb, a better